Hello, good day to you. It's Talkin really, and today's story is split over several news outlets. I have 3 or 4 of them I'm going to share with you, and they're all very related. These stories are about people who have disabilities, who have had issues getting food. So the first one is a blind woman. I don't know why they put blind woman. They could put partially sighted or visually impaired, but they put blind person, which I don't think is quite right, but hey, who am I to say? So the blind woman who can't buy food because supermarkets won't let her in is having to rely on donations during lockdown. She lives alone and relies on her guide dog to help her shop, but stores have refused to let her in because she can't socially distance. This was Friday, the 24th of April. Trying to get food and essential items has become much more difficult for all of us during lockdown, but for 52-year-old Elaine, it's almost impossible. Having been blind for several years, Elaine relies on a guide dog to help her get around and navigate daily living, and this includes shopping. But the former estate manager has been struggling to buy food or any of the other things that she needs because supermarkets won't let her in. And unable to get any deliveries, she's from Milton Keynes, faced weeks of misery trying to shop for basic items whilst waiting to get access to the priority online shopping section that she desperately needs. She said that the whole situation has been like a bad dream. It's bad enough trying to cope with the pandemic, but having the additional stress of being denied access to shops is turning it into a complete nightmare. So the other one is in the mirror. Yes, we all know the mirror. The mirror says, another use of the word blind, I don't know if that's appropriate, but blind father shouted at and thrown out of Aldi for shopping with his partner. Christy Lynch from Liverpool was shopping at Aldi for his elderly neighbours when he was chucked out for being with his partner. The supermarket has now apologised. So a blind father, I wish they wouldn't do that. So I think I'm going to rewrite this article. A visually impaired father who was picking up supplies for his elderly neighbours said he was asked to leave the store for shopping with his partner. Christy, who is 54 from Liverpool, claims he was shopping at the Aldi in Thornton when he was thrown out of the store and told he could not re-enter. A designated key worker who works for Liverpool City Council, he was out shopping for his vulnerable neighbours, and he said that he likes to be as independent as possible, but because he is totally blind in one eye and only has a limited vision in the other, he needs his girlfriend's help to go round the shop. Many supermarkets are generally preventing couples from shopping together, asking that only one person enters the shop. Aldi has now issued an apology and clarified that where necessary, customers will be able to shop with others. Christy told the Liverpool Echo, "It was really embarrassing for me to be treated like that. It was humiliating to be shouted at and told to leave in front of a massive queue. It's my local store. There were other people walking around in pairs, so it didn't make sense that we were singled out. And I was shouted at by the security guard who told me to get out." Yeah, another case. So the other one we want to look at is this one. A very bright yellow news outlet. This is a locus, apparently in independent journalism that you can trust. Whether you can trust any journalists, I don't know. However, sick and disabled people, including some with MS, because this is a article about people with MS, have described the pain and distress that they have endured in attempting to buy food Many say that they have been forced to put up with discrimination from their local supermarket, with Sainsbury's being named as the worst offender. So accounts collected by DNS, the Disability News Service, has built up a picture of disabled people struggling to feed themselves and having to put the health of themselves and their families at risk, while supermarkets fail to adjust their policies and procedures to take into account the barriers our disabled customers are facing. DNS said that in just 1 week, from 8 disabled people who allege they have faced discrimination from supermarkets as they have attempted to buy food during the crisis. Living these days in southern Spain, more than 1,300 miles south of London by road, I have no first-hand knowledge of events during the current pandemic crisis. I do know, however, how much I relied on Tesco's home service when I lived in Colwyn Bay, North Wales. And here, the second one, Lisa and I live just outside the 10k delivery area to everyone, even in normal times, of our nearest supermarket, Mercadona. So we are extremely grateful that Joe, one of our neighbours, has been a real hero by being able and willing to shop for us. Back in the UK, solicitors are saying that more than 200 disabled people are set to take legal class action for disability discrimination against supermarkets because of the fact that they say they have faced discrimination whilst trying to buy groceries during the pandemic. At the same time, the UK Equality and Human Rights Commission, EHRC, has written to the British Retail Consortium to raise concerns about the failure of supermarkets to make reasonable adjustments for disabled customers. This includes the availability of online deliveries, the impact of long queues, changes to policies on a company's shopping, and inaccessible websites and telephone helplines. Amongst those particularly hit are people with autistic and those with long-term health conditions such as MS, who say that they have not been able to secure home deliveries by booking online and claim that they have faced discrimination when they have to visit a store. So with legal action pending, if no accommodation is reached, it would be unfair to ask either side for comments. But we will say that we hope that common sense prevails. This pandemic affects all of us, people with disabilities and supermarkets alike. We all need to do what we can to take reasonable care, stay healthy, and be kind to one another. Now, interestingly, my last part of this story is proving that the UK has a different idea where it comes to the treatment of disabled people. And this story I saw is about Nepal. Obviously, the pandemic has enveloped the whole world. It's rising, but by day in Nepal, and complete lockdown has been imposed. In this situation, the government needs to care about the disabled population more than in normal times. Apparently, there are around about 10% of the population with a disability. This means that there are around 3 million disabled people in Nepal. And it goes on to go on about types of disabilities. The government also needs to give special priority to persons with disabilities to recover from the lockdown effect. So there's a lot of information there. Are they doing more than the UK? I think that every other country is doing a lot more than the UK. And the underlying factor is that disabled people, as you well know, are second-class citizens who basically, through the Tory government, are being putting them into a box and leaving them there. If they get the virus, then all well and good. That's another one gone out of the world. They can say they haven't got to pay any money for, and is a non-productive person with society. And it really is becoming more and more prevalent that this is where we're going with this whole pandemic thing. Anyway, how is it for you? Let us know how you're coping with getting your groceries. Are you on lockdown? How are you doing with that? Have you managed to get a delivery slot, for example? How do you cope with shopping? Right, have a good day and bye for now.